Damn, son. It's... Oh, I won't say her name. You'll find it out soon enough. God damn it. I want to read her dialogue out in a certain way, but that's going to spoil a bit of her line. I think you know what I mean, don't you, James? James, you there? Hello? Anyone home?
It always helps to have your mic not muted.
God damn it, James. There, that's good.
Yep. Always helps to do that. Just pro tip, make sure your mic's not muted.
But yes. Her voice doesn't have any detectable accent.
You'd think she would have an accent, to be honest.
Well, I mean, she's half Japanese. And I mean, when I'm half Swedish. Jag pratar svensk. Och människor säger att jag har ingen dialekt, för min mamma är svensk och hon har lärt mig... sorry, I shouldn't speak Swedish. The odds of us having a Swedish viewer are probably pretty low. What I was saying was...
I have no idea what you're saying either, given my
yes, no, I know
lack
you're
of
Swedish.
bilingual talents.
I was just doing it to show...
lack of English talents.
Yes, I've seen your spelling ability. But, yes, I was just doing that to show off the fact that I speak Swedish. And I've been told I don't have much of an accent, and that's just because my mum taught me from when I was very young. So, if you're taught from a very early age, like as a first or as a very first language, you probably won't get an accent. But yes, we learn her name is Lily. That
and she's probably blind.
Yes. It's something I can't remember. I've brought this up in the playthrough, but I can't remember if I brought it up during another session, so I may as well bring it up here. I've always wondered how in this game, given that this game is set in Japan, how they pronounce her name. We're native English speakers, so we say Lily. But I have to wonder, do they say Riruri or Riri? Riri.
So to our one viewer who's currently holds a doctorate in every topic under the sun, how do you pronounce Lily if you only know Japanese?
Oh, I've watched enough anime to have a decent idea. It's probably Riri, although I'm probably butchering the R's. I can roll my R's, but Riri. I'm trying not like it. Like I said, I'm probably butchering it. But yes. Now we're having tea with an insanely attractive Scottish chick. Oh shit, that was spoilers. Bleep that out, Sam. James.
Yes. I know how to edit things. By the time I even get to finishing doing the editing for this particular part of the game, I'll be a master at putting those in.
Well, dub that over with pizza or something.
Nah. Politically correct beeping sounds.
1 kilohertz sine wave if you want to have the...
no, I don't feel like torturing our fans.
Sorry?
I don't feel like torturing.
The censorship beep is a 1 kilohertz sine wave.
I thought that was the resonant... What's the resonant frequency of the air drum?
I've got no idea what the resonant frequency of an eardrum is, given that every person's head and skull and ears are shaped differently. I have a feeling it's different for every person.
There's a frequency that more people than not, it makes them feel real sick if you play it, because it's something to do with how the air picks up sound.
Yeah.
I don't know
but
exactly what it is.
I know for a fact it's not a 1 kilohertz sine wave. Maybe just to be safe, you should have a square wave or a sawtooth wave, or maybe even a tan wave. Break their speakers.
Maybe the annoying sound I have from the audio files, which I butchered.
Actually, yeah, that might be a good trope for the spoilers. Have the butchered audio sound as our censorship beep. If you do decide to do that, though, don't introduce it until now, in case the viewers wonder what the fuck is going on. The viewer, I keep forgetting. We're being optimistic here and saying we have one viewer.
Yeah, well.
So having more than one is probably a stretch at that.
Oh, definitely. But never hope. It's never a bad thing to hope for more.
Who knows? Like I said earlier, we might somehow, if the planets align and someone logs in, you upload this at the perfect time. This might go viral somehow. But I hope about it. I wonder how Hisao takes his tea. I don't think it's ever mentioned.
Well, he does mention, at least early on in this, that he's not a big tea fan and he's much more of a coffee guy.
Yeah, he's a coffee guy. I personally take my tea with no milk or no sugar. How do you take yours, James?
I'm like Sal. I won't say no to a tea if offered, but I'd prefer a coffee.
Fair enough. My taste in coffee is too fancy for my taste in coffee is too much for or too fancy for my budget to allow me to drink the sort of coffee I like on a regular basis. So given my somewhat simplistic taste in tea, it's much simpler.
Though I have the problem where, well, if I don't have coffee for long enough, any coffee is going to suffice.
Yeah, one of my vices is the fact that if I want more than a cup of tea's worth of caffeine, I end up going for energy drinks.
Ugh. I can't anymore.
Yeah. Like I said, I'll openly admit it's a vice of mine and probably a habit I should kick. But yeah. I think I implied it earlier, but in case our one viewer didn't quite get it, Lily is one of my favourite characters, and so is the other character we're about to meet. Your mic's not muted again, is it, James? You've gone silent again.
No.
Or are you're actually paying attention to the dialogue?
I always pay attention to the dialogue. It's just some of it. Also, if I don't have anything ready to input at a point in time, it's not going to sit there and just blabble.
Fair enough.
Or at least try not to. I do it a lot.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't think I don't know, I guess you could call this a let's play. As a let's player or as let's players. As a let's player, I've found the right balance between talking enough so that there's just not long, awkward silences, whilst not overloading the viewer and not allowing them to pay attention to anything that's going on.
I don't know.
Our one viewer, could you please provide feedback? Am I talking too much? Am I talking not enough? But yes, we meet another character I quite like. This is not the favourite character I was talking about earlier. I said that I said this about the last 5 characters we've met now.
She seems
You can speak English, I know you can.
Yeah, I know. This particular character does seem to appear in pretty much in every line and is actually reasonably important.
Yeah, no, I like her. We've had her name introduced. She's Yuko. No, we haven't. Whoops. I'm out of sync with you again, damn it. But yes, her name is Yuko. And I like her character. I also have other thoughts on her as a character that I bring up later in the storyline, but there's no point in me bringing them up now. There we go. Now we get formally introduced. Perhaps the reason I like Yuko is that it's the same reason you like another character, in that I feel a bit of a similarity between our personalities, given that she profusely apologizes for every single mistake she makes, even no matter how minor. That's something my friends tell me I do. I say sorry too much. Maybe I'm part Canadian, I just don't know it. Or maybe my Canadian neighbours from back home have imprinted on me in some way.
I wonder if Canadians are really as polite and all that as the stereotype would make them out to be.
Well, if the neighbours I was just talking about are anything to go by, they're all excellent. They're excellent people. But I mean, Canada did spawn Justin Bieber and the Cruz, what's his name? Paul Cruz or whatever, one of the Republican candidates in Nickelback.
Yeah,
so I mean,
you're
Canada's
pointing out
not perfect.
minor problems compared to what the stereotype is.
Yeah, there are certainly worse stereotypes to have. But I mean, yeah.
Aww.
This is the character I've been building up to.
Aww.
I really like this character. She's freaking adorable.
Yeah.
And you should play the game. It probably, at least something about this game, about why I hold this game in such high regard, is because I ended up taking her route first. And that's what ended up starting me to take... That's how I ended up starting to take this game seriously when I first played it. And I won't say anything further, but play the damn game. Life of Pi, I've heard of it. It's a good book, and a pretty decent movie as well. Although, despite the fact that they won an Oscar, the VFX company that did the effects for Life of Pi, which were amazing, recently went under, which is kind of sad. But yeah, this is another, this character's dialogue is another reason why I'd absolutely love to see this voice acted in an anime. She'd be Hanako. She'd be adorable. Hanako Ikazawa. Uncomfortable silence consumes us. Oh, poor Hanako.
Oh. Nope.
I've got to go return. It's so hard though, knowing that in order to do Shizune's line, we've got to actively ignore and perhaps even to some extent rebuff her. It's sad,
It is. It's very sad to. In some cases, just you have to actively pick the thing that makes you ignore that character.
Hanako, they showed us her name. You can call her Hanako.
Well, any character really. There's a lot of ignoring other characters and not always picking the option you'd like to pick.
But yeah, it just hurts that it hurts that for Hanako more than most, given that, like I said, it was her run through that I ended up with first, and it was part of why I hold this game in as high regard as I do. No, you didn't do anything wrong. You were just new here and not used to things. And Yuko will explain this to us. Well, it's not that she's not accustomed, it's just that she actively dislikes it. Wait, that's spoilers. Shit, censor that, James.
People just need to go play the game themselves and fully enjoy the story at their own pace instead of our pace.
I mean, given that you're watching us do this Let's Play, I understand that you wouldn't be necessarily against getting spoilers for Shizune's line, but, you know, beyond that, I really don't want to spoil the things.
We're trying to avoid spoilers as much as possible for all the lines. But
Shizune's, it's not as important though, given that you're watching us play through it. But yes, Hisao is a regular old bookworm, and he picked up his reading addiction in hospital. He's got to get his fix. Jonesing for some reading. Come on, man, just a few books. I'll hold out to the next.
Readers Anonymous.
And now we get to meet fucking Kenji.
That line there actually kind of disturbing. It's just me. He makes a pause, licks his lips nervously. Like, what?
Yeah, it's just you, eh? Oh, Christ. I think, though, we're close to the end of this recording session, close to catching up.
Yes, we are. It's pretty much once we finish this Hisao nod, and we'll be finishing up this particular run of the Gat run. And
yes, I've got to go Skype my parents.
And I'm gonna go, have second dinner and more coffee.
We've had dinner, yes, but what about second dinner? I still haven't seen Lord of the Rings, I just know that's a quote. Or I'm paraphrasing one anyway.
That is a paraphrase of a quote from Lord of the Rings. Fellowship of the Rings. Good movie. I did really enjoy it, but seriously, they missed so much out of that were in the books, and a lot of interesting things.
Yeah, I do find it ridiculous, or not ridiculously, but somewhat funny that they tried to squeeze Lord of the Rings into three-hour movies, three very thick books. Space. And yet they took The Hobbit, which is a relatively light read, and squeezed it and stretched it out to 3 books.
Well, a lot of that was, they had the budget and they had the means of doing it.
Yeah.
I liked both Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit films, but
I have actually seen the Hobbit. I just need to find time to do a Lord of the Rings marathon now. I have seen the Hobbit. I saw all the Hobbit movies when they came out. My excuse up to the point the Battle of Five Armies coming out was that I wanted to watch the Lord of the Rings saga in chronological order. But now I don't have that excuse, and I'm just too lazy to spend 12 hours straight watching 3 extended editions.
Yeah. I'm at the point where I like them, not because they're good retellings of the books, but because they're good films.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed reading both The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings, and I like them as books, and I like the films as films.
Scared some girl off accidentally. This question here, I can't answer. I can't answer no. She was cute.
I'm sorry, but
I couldn't. I don't
sorry,
think I
but
could ever bring myself to
there's
say
only
no.
one answer there.
That's a oh, what's the word? A false dilemma. There's a specific word for a choice that isn't really a choice, but that is actually a choice. I just can't remember the word I'm after.
Wow.
But yes, now we get introduced to Kenji's. I'd say most.
We're starting to see more of
feature.
Kenji's actual personality.
Uh-huh. Fucking hell, Kenji. Here we go. Here we go. Feminist conspiracy theorist. Kenji is a fucking feminist conspiracy. He's a fucking.
God damn it, Kenji.
Personally, I believe in feminism as in the dictionary definition, but its whole current swing towards misandry is definitely not something I agree with.
I'm just not going to get into it because
Yeah,
that
no,
is a
probably
discussion
not a good idea.
most definitely suited to another time.
Well, I mean, Kenji's talking about how feminism is a giant conspiracy theory.
Yeah, but Kenji's also a bit insane.
I was meaning that more in terms of, so at least talking about it now is at least somewhat relevant to somewhat relevant to what's going on screen.
Yeah, it's relevant, but I don't know. For me, it's just something that I find that would be too difficult to properly talk about in such a small amount of time.
Yeah. But hey, if I don't know if I'll be linking my YouTube channel or anything in the description, given that I've got literally nothing there that's of any interest unless you like cars, of which I have one video. But feel free to post in the comments if you wish to discuss feminism with either of us in more detail.
Now he's ranting about how you can't have two last sane men in a feminist insane world.
This reminds me though of that joke that says one out of every three people are insane, but I mean I'm not insane and you're not insane, so it must be Kenji. That sort of joke. Kenji is insane.
He's a special case.
Like if I had to deal with him in real life, I'd probably try my hardest to be polite to him, but I do have to wonder whether he'd be able to find my limits with that regard.
I don't know. I get the feeling that I would just ignore him and just walk straight past him and close the door on him.
Yeah, that would be. I don't think I'd be able to bring myself to do that. It'd be kind of a dick move. But
I think
there we go.
he would grate on me too much, and all right.
And that
Before
note,
we continue on with our discussion of how Kenji is Kenji, thank you everyone for sitting through this and, well, hopefully getting to the end of the first couple parts of this. Thank you very much for starting and all that jazz.
Hopefully we'll see you back in our next recording session, which actually happened several months ago now.
Yeah. And hopefully I don't botch up any of the any more audio files.
Please don't.
I really hope I don't. I don't want to have to go back again to fix something I botched up. But yes, thank you everyone who came across, who's sat through and enjoyed the first part of our playthrough of Katawa Shoujo. And we hope to see you all back next time.
Fingers
Have a good
crossed.
day, night, morning, etc.
Have fun. See ya.